I'll go 3 beers. All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. No. I already have the.
Oh, yeah.
These are just
Like, oh shit, right. It just said lion.
So, speak
Yeah, you can make it in.
okay.
I have standards and I have class.
Back.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Shall we?
yeah, let me introduce my friend Nikos.
Yeah,
That's the music going before we talk about the climate and all that stuff. So,
Hello, everybody. I am Nikos from Greece. As you some of you know. Hello, people from there. I am Nikos from Greece. And I'm gonna play a few songs with Attila later on, but also he asked me if I could do something now. And he asked me on the bus on the way here. And I told him if I feel I was gonna do it. But it's a very nice place here, the Green Office in Amsterdam. And yeah, we're gonna sing this song called Traveling Man. Traveling man, I'm blue, but I won't be blue. The sun is gonna shine in my back door someday. I'm going down to the river. I'm gonna buy me a rocking chair. If the blues don't leave me, I'm gonna rock my way out of there. Traveling man, I'm blue, but I won't be blue. Road's gonna take me home. Road is gonna take me home. Oh, the road is gonna take me home. Thank you very much. Now I'm gonna play a song that I wrote. Look like this. How does it do? Yeah, it's called 1200 miles. Yeah. Which is the distance between the city I came from, Greece, and the city that is now my home. I wake up to the cries of baby birds, 'cause every night I lay my head behind their nest. Oh, and I'm walking meadows, blue bread, 1200 miles as the crow flies. Paper flowers stuck into the mud. Dollar bills are piling up inside a plastic jar. Oh, when I'm walking meadows of tall grass, 1,200 miles as the crow flies. I didn't see a light in this dark night, but then I saw 1,000 little ones across the sky. Oh, and I'm smoking meadows, wild grass, 1,200 miles as the crow flies. Thank you very much. We're gonna do a little more with Nikos in the end of the workshop. But first, I'm very happy to welcome you over the laptops from around the world and everybody here at the university. And just to start with, I'm Attila Suba. I'm also a blues singer, so I'm a musician. I play music with Nikos. But also, I started Climate Action Foundation here in Amsterdam during the Corona crisis. And I came here today to talk with you and to discuss how we can solve the climate emergency. Because the idea here is that we can talk about lots of different stuff. But yeah, somebody's calling. Yeah, somebody's calling. It's all right. So we can talk about lots of different stuff, but the most important is that we all know what are the problems, and we all know what are the solutions. So we came here, and we came here today to discuss these problems and solutions, and to create a dialogue and to question. I'm not here to tell you what we have to do. I'm here to tell you some things which are the scientists are working on and how we can solve different problems. But the most important thing, I'm a blues musician. You are here to question me, and you're here to question the ideas that we are putting all together, because that is the questioning that is going to be resulting in understanding. So if we don't question, we're never going to understand things. So that is the goal of the workshop. And during the workshop, we're going to talk about hemp. We're going to talk about how nature can help solve the problems that we have. But first, I really want, and also we're going to talk about the social economic system that we are living in and how this relates. But first, I have a question for you. We already know what are the reality, the situation that we are in. Have you heard about the cascade effects? What is a cascade effects, and how does it relate to the climate emergency? Cascade. So it's like the domino. What the scientists are saying, that we are in so much trouble changing
the ecosystems, destroying the ecosystems, which are life is depending on, that we create this, like this, the domino. When you start to hit one domino, all the other dominoes are falling in another space. So when we change a system that is connected to everything, because the earth is a globe, is a shape, so everything is interconnected. So that is the problem that we face now with the climate emergency. What do you see? What do you see the problems that we face? How these problems are manifesting? What do you hear? What people tell you? What do you read? Have you read anything interesting on the climate emergency? What the scientists are saying? Greta Thunberg, yeah. Join in from on that. So
yeah. Now, for example, the extreme weather that we've experienced the last few years, the floods here in the Netherlands, and to a degree also the storms have all been partially caused by the climate crisis. So that's something that we are experiencing right now.
Why do you think it's that? Why there are more floods, more storms, more hurricanes, more fires, more of these?
As I understand it, the what's it called? As I understand it, there's like the global warming effect of the broeikassen, what's it called? The
greenhouse effect.
The greenhouse effect, yes. That changes the way that clouds and other fluctuates and so on. But like, I'm an economist. I'm no climate expert. I did do a course in climate economics, but that wasn't that much in detail on the biology and the physics of it.
So going down to the basics, there are more storms, more fires, because the greenhouse gases like water vapor, CO2, methane, and all the different greenhouse gases are trapping heat energy in the Earth system. So the Earth is in an energy imbalance. So we got energy from the sun, and then we put this energy through the atmosphere. It evaporates to the space. So there is a balance in the Earth energy system, and that is the balance that we change. So when we trap more heat, more energy in the system, that creates more heat, which creates more water vapor. More water vapor in the clouds are resulting more rain and more floods. More energy is in resulting more stronger hurricanes and wildfires, which are, by the way, the scientists are already proving that is because we put the pollution, the air pollution that we call this pollution, that we get the CO2, the carbon, out from the ground, all the dead fossils and the dinosaurs, which are below the ground, and we extract them and put it up in the air. And that cover is trapping more heat, more energy on the planet. So that is the basic physical problem that we face. We face lots of problems. What do you think in the climate emergency? Have you heard about somebody talking about some other stuff that we face, not just the energy imbalance, but
lack of biodiversity?
The biodiversity. And what did you hear about the biodiversity?
Well, that it's being compromised.
Compromised.
Monocultures and what is it called? The things you put the poison that goes into food that's killing a bunch of insects and animals, so it's getting in a way reduced or at least limited.
So the fertilizer that we put in the soil is killing the bacteria in the soil, which is good for the plants because that's how soil lives. There is bacteria is inside the soil, so the whole ecosystem feeds on like the whales on the plankton. You have to have the plankton in the ocean to have the whales. So you have to have the microbes, you have to have the bacteria and the sugar and the oxygen in the soil to be a fertile soil that can bring on more nature. And what we do with our monocultures, or what we spray all the chemicals and put nitrogen in the soil, which enhances for a little while, but it depletes all the bacteria and all the little stuff that we need the soil to be healthy. So that's also a problem. You mentioned insects. Who mentioned insects? Yeah.
They're dying a lot, like a lot.
Now, how can you tell they are dying?
When you drive in your car on the road, 10 years ago, you had your windshield like covered with dead insects, and now you don't have that anymore. And also the street lights at night, there's no insects on the lights anymore. It's you can really see it, like you can actually see it, which is crazy.
And if we don't have insects, then what the birds eat?
Yeah.
What and when we don't have the birds,
How do we fall in love?
so that's the biodiversity collapse that the scientists are already saying that we are in the sixth mass extinction, but it means that all ecosystems which are depending on each other, like the birds, the insects, everything is interdependent, is destroyed. So now we have this situation where now, have you heard anything about methane? With the methane emissions? Somebody?
One like human-made gas situation.
Isn't it what cows are also?
Yeah. Cows are birthing out methane. Yes. Yes. That's methane. What is methane? Anybody is like a biologist, chemist? You know how methane produced?
No.
Internet people?
You're a blues singer. You can sing about it.
I can sing about the methane, but methane is produced. It's organic matter decomposing without oxygen, and that creates matter. And that creates methane, which is 120 times more potent greenhouse gas than CO2. In a 20 years time scale, and in 100 years time scale is 28 times more potent. But the problem is that, do you know, have you heard about the permafrost? Permafrost? Yeah, the permafrost is Russia, the taiga, the boreal forest, is frozen land, right? Frozen, which were wetlands, and that is under this frozen land, there is organic matter. And when it starts to thaw, you know, the temperature rises because in the northern hemisphere, the temperatures are rising 4 times quicker than in here in Europe. So the most quick warming we measure now is on the North Pole, which is warming up significantly quicker than the other parts of the planet. So then you have this frozen ground where cities are built on this ground, and then it starts to thaw, and all the matter, the organic matter which was frozen in the ground, starts to create this methane and release that methane. And now the scientists, what they are feeling, but by the way, what they are feeling now is that there are huge hydrocarbon frozen methane under the sea bed at the Loktev Sea. And the Loktev Sea it's very shallow, it's 50 meters. And the methane starts to come from the frozen seabed and starts to release. And when what the scientists are feeling, that's the cascade effect, because more methane traps more heat, More heat creates more warming and thawing of the methane permafrost, which creates more heating, and this is how you get in this positive feedback loop, which is and then warming is not just affecting the permafrost, but it's affecting the oceans, affecting land, affecting how much CO2 goes to the ocean. So that's called the ocean acidification. That's how much. That's why fish are migrating and the coral reefs are dying, because the pH level of the ocean, how acidic is an ocean, is changing. So it's bleaching the coral reefs, which are natural connectors to nature. These are homes for creatures. So the question is, how this is a very bad situation we are in. It's no doubt. The question is, how do you make something? How do you create reality? How do we create this? Do you know how this point came to being?
The USB.
The USB, this drive, yeah, this USB or a USB drive.
Yeah. Every electronic devices, gold particles are extracted from gold mining and creates like enormous amount of damaging like chemicals. To extract gold from the mines, they need to pass through the waters and then destroys the lands of like places around the world.
So that's the how do you make this? But how do you come up with an idea? What is the thing? Why is this? How a USB drive came to be?
So we need to store data, and we make the USB. Like, this is the problem. We need to store more data. So let's make a USB.
But how a USB drive or a phone came into existence? That's the question.
Yes.
Necessity.
Yes. Exactly.
Necessity, yes. But
Innovation.
yeah, but how innovation starts?
Idea.
Idea. And where is the idea comes from?
You have a need and some resources, right?
You have a need, resources, idea, but yeah, working together, figure it out how we can solve a problem, and that's how something comes into being. The creation itself is first there is an idea in somebody's head. We need something like this. I imagine a device like this, or a glass. A glass. Before glass existed, there was a coconut something, so you can put water in it. But that's the thing.
This how the need creates the idea, which creates the everything else.
But whenever you think about an art piece,
It's an
art art is a need.
Of course. Sometimes. I
For
think
me,
sometimes
it
it
is.
can be. Depends.
Yeah,
Self-expression is a need.
It's a feeling.
So the core thing is that what I'm trying to talk with you and ask questions on this is because we produce the problems. We are creating this huge problem that we are in right now.
Yes.
Everybody on the planet is in the same problem. We are creating this. And what do you think, in your opinion? You can think about anything. What are the problems that we are creating?
Wars.
Or today.
Wars?
War today.
I mean, you said about the heating, so let's stick with that.
No. You don't need to. Yeah, it's energy imbalance. We put the CO2 up in the atmosphere, but that's just a result. What is the problem?
That like increasing consumption of everything. Like
Consumer
consumerism?
society.
Yeah,
You mean?
the needs we're creating are the problem.
I mean, we only think about our own needs. We don't really take anything else into consideration, like the consequences of what we're doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think the moment we as humans decided that we're above
nature
nature,
Yeah.
yes,
and
and
not
not
like
part
on
of
the
it.
same
Yeah.
level of
As
it,
soon as
One.
we separated, right?
Yeah, yeah.
then created a lot of bad consequences.
Yeah.
And why do you think is that why do you think that this consumer society or this consumption is destroying the planet? Why? What is the core? What is the how this works?
I think we're deviating attention from first what our actual needs or possibilities could be, but also from the needs of the planet, planetary boundaries. We crossed all of this because you want a new job from Major for 5 years, you know.
I mean, we're taking more than we actually need, and we're giving very little back.
More than you can do.
You want something, you just take it without thinking about the consequences.
I mean, yeah.
You need energy, you're just gonna get gas. That's it.
If I go shopping, it's not like I actually need another summer dress, but you know.
Next one.
Exactly, like we try to satisfy our longing for love.
Yeah.
With everything else, with buying stuff, sending rockets through people,
Yeah.
and to space.
So that's what you can call it, like the consumer society. That's the mass consumption and the mass production. Do you know what is the mechanism that is working on? How does millions of people want the same thing, and why millions of people want the same car, want the same flat screen TV, want the same house, want the same vacation? Yeah, marketing.
Sales.
Yes,
Yes, sales.
society. Yeah.
Status. Yes, you want to measure yourself from, because the other one has this, I need to have that too, because you are measuring yourself
Yes.
from the same economic status level, right?
It's also how I think the things we consume are also how people differentiate themselves from the others while doing exactly the same thing in a way, but you know, it's like someone has a car A and the other one gets a car B, and he's different from the guy who has car A.
Yeah.
They're doing the exact same thing. So
Individualism.
you buy a top in a different shop and you're like, you're different. You chose that other top, you know, but it's the same thing.
But why do you think that people connect themselves and their self-worth or value to things?
I mean, that's really, I think, a group psychology thing. It has meaning because you give it meaning. And especially in Western society, a lot of the meaning of our status and place within a group is defined by the things that we have and the things that we own and the things that we like.
Yes, and you said a very interesting thing, because what we value, right? What is in our mind, that is our perception, that this has value for me, but maybe not so much value for you. But what we have in this is that what is the common thing that we all value, that is you know, that measurement, how that measurement comes to be. Money. And why is money is important in this matter?
It's important, is or is not?
Why is important? Why it's not important?
I know.
I think it's important in society because that's the only way you can live in it.
Yeah, this is
money.
reality. Yes,
exactly.
this is reality. We use money.
We are valued by money. Like what we do, we are paid per hour. Like, so our time equals money.
Our distance.
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, yeah.
Existence.
Our existence.
Our distance
Yeah.
is equal money.
In society, because you can exist without money
That's true.
out
Yeah.
of society. Maybe in society.
Yeah, but that's it. You kind of almost have to exclude yourself from it. Right?
Yeah.
So why do you think that this? We haven't touched on some other parts. So when we're going to this money thing, that what we see today, what is the problem with money? Do you see any problem with money?
Some have a lot, some have few, some have nothing at all.
In short, but you see any problem with money?
The problem is not money, it's how people operate, right? Money is just like,
No.
it's a thing to exchange things. So money in itself is a brilliant idea, I guess.
Mhm.
But
That
how
we want.
people use it or the value we give to it.
Yeah.
And how we share it.
Hi.
Maybe let me put it different. Some people want a lot, some people don't want it all, some people want a few. It's about one, you know?
That's the one that I say I totally in that line of thinking. So we have this money thing which we measure everything on money, right? And people we believe that this money is representing a specific value. We believe that the thing that we created, like imagined up, this is our imagination doing this, our creation doing this. We put this money to be in a space where we can measure everything about money with money, or we want to, or we try to measure. But how does it generate a problem? How this money generates a problem? Hi, nice to see you here. So you have an idea what is the problem with money?
I think the fact that we have taken money as a transactional thing and actually started investing with it and such, we've completely lost the concept of money as a transactional thing. So it has completely been disconnected from the actual purpose of the thing.
For the communication.
Right?
NFTs, you know, I just learned about NFTs.
From blockchain.
Yeah.
So yes, the blockchain is interesting. So we're going into this, the whole thing. I want to divide. I just want to focus now on the problems. What are the problems we have? If I say Facebook, you say a problem?
No.
Yeah. Monopoly.
Monopoly? Yes.
Sorry.
Depends how you use it.
Yes.
Depends how you use it.
Depends on how you use it.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Because we
Privacy?
I would say that the problem is that there are few people that are like have tons of money, and the majority of people that just barely manage to survive, but are constantly like need to find more in order to just go on.
Yeah.
And the general and like economies that is going like towards like more money, like as much money as possible, but with the least effort. So that's
Yes. And why do you think is that? Why people have a lots of money? A couple people have a huge amount of in you know, a $1 trillion is a lots of money. You cannot imagine how much that is. That is a lots of money. You can break it down. We can say that $1 trillion is what is now on the green bonds market, investing in green, or now it's like $2.2 trillion is on the global market in green investments in bonds. But that's you know, it's basically infinite money after a while, because why is the why a couple people have a lots of money and the rest of society is basically, you know, you all know this, I think, the top 10% of the planet owns as much as the rest of the rest of 9%. And when you go to top 1%, well, how much they own on this planet is equal to the bottom 50%. So we have a huge wealth inequality on this planet. Well, why? That's my question. Why? Why do you think that is?
Power relations.
Power relations. So what is power?
Where is power or what is power?
What is power?
I don't know, maybe the ability of imposing something on someone or restraining someone's ability to choose or opportunity. Choice.
It depends on, yes, but it depends on what kind of power we're talking about. So the power of knowledge is not about imposing. So why is that we talked about the belief that we believe that money is related to value, because that's how we measure. We also have a problem with couple of people having infinite amount of money, and there is a huge amount of people who doesn't have amount of money, doesn't have any money or any say, because how a system is created. You go create this democracy or create a democracy, on every 4 or 5 years you go and vote. This is a vote for how we operate the social structure of our country or region or whatever, or school. But then you have an economic system. And in that economic system, what it happens, there is a tiny amount of people who have infinite amounts of votes, because on a market, you vote every day with your purchases. I'm going to buy here in Albert Heijn. I'm not going to buy in the corner store. I'm going to buy here. I'm going to use my dollars, euros, yens, whatever, to make a statement, a vote in the economic system that we are all operating in. So why do you think is that some people have infinite amount of votes on this, and some people and lots of people have not?
It's a capitalistic system.
Yes.
You surround everything around the gathering of money, and you give out once you have money, and you basically gathering money.
Think about back to ancient Egypt. What they had there in Egypt, they had a pharaoh who had power, because people believed that this person is a god, right? He has the power, he's a god, and then we're gonna build all this stuff for him, and we're gonna do and everything what he says. This is the power centralization problem. This is a power centralization problem we have. What I'm going there is, I'm going to tell you the science behind this. So in the last 40, 50 years, social scientists and behavior scientists have figured out, when you get more wealthy, you distance yourself from society and also from your capacity to relate to human emotions. What does it mean? That your perception, because you are a wealthy person, you are living in a totally different sphere than other people. You are not there. Your mind, your synapses are also changing. So you cannot recognize emotions on people's faces anymore. This is happening. This is the science. So the people, when you get more wealthy, your perception, your point of view changes, and that's why you change, why you create these power centralization, because the capitalist system, as you said, these are decisions made by people, how we operate things. This is, we decided, people decided how we're gonna get energy from under the ground. It's called oil, it's everywhere, and we can put it in cars and we can move with this energy. This is decided. We decided this is how we're gonna do this. The problem is that decision, have you heard about the Club of Rome? Club of Rome, 76. Internet?
I missed what you said, Attila. Did we hear about what?
Club of Rome. Club of Rome.
Club of Rome. No.
The Club of Rome was a scientist panel and expert panel on in 76. They wrote a book that we have these planetary boundaries and we cannot consume. There is end. There is no, so growth cannot continue. There is an end to growth. And we already know this. This growth, like as the capitalist system, as you said it, this growth, because the energy that I want to make you see and understand what is the cause of the problem. And you can imagine it like a black hole, like a tiny black hole. Greed, that we're talking about greed, which is the dehumanization effect by creating a different perception that you are rich and you are living in a different society, in a different planet, and you see other people as numbers, as externalities. Like you see, if you are an oil company, you see the nature as an externality, as an expendable and not part of the system, because you only there for you to gain more and more and more. And that is the cause. That is the cause. And the Club of Rome wrote a book in 76. They already said it. We cannot continue this. How we grow. This is not the thing. And I want to get back now. Do you have any questions on this? You kind of, what do you think about greed, first of all?
Inefficient.
Yes, greed is inefficient, very much so. Why is inefficient?
Well, I mean, if you are striving for just greed, it's not going to bring you anything except for stuff. Stuff on itself is not that good.
And there are stuff. Why do you think stuff is not good for you?
I mean, there has been research on what amount of wealth is the right amount, what amount of income is the right amount that you feel to feel happiness. And that is about 40,000 a year, approximately. So if you go for eternal greed, you probably end up above that and gain nothing. It's still wanting.
Like the Maslow curve.
And it comes down at some point, isn't it? Like it's like you keep increasing until you reach a certain level, and if you keep going too much, it goes down. So you get more miserable.
So at least we have that one up on Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are more happy people than Elon Musk. I'm totally sure of this.
I think you need science to tell me that.
Yeah. But science is also backing this up. So the scientists, the cognitive scientists and the social scientists are researching what is the human condition. And that is connecting to the mass marketing, the consumer culture, because this greed or this the primal desires and the primal emotion, fear, the desire, the wants are manipulated with all these advertisement, and be what you are, and you are gonna be happy because you drink Coca-Cola. You're gonna be, all these, how these market mechanisms are working, right? This is you learned this.
I was in mine.
You
was
you was in why did you left?
like it. Yeah, it's all about money. Just earn it. And it's also like a little bit on brainwashing people that this product is good. And the company wasn't the best one in terms of carbon emissions.
Because they only focused on selling more of that thing, and not why you are selling that thing. So that is the only why is that more and more and more and more. That is what we cannot continue. We cannot continue because living in this finite planet. So how are we going to solve this? How are we going to solve all these problems? Is a huge. We have the wars, the consumer society. We have we talked about social media. Social media. We haven't talked about that, but opinion bubbles, created opinion bubbles. You know that. I think you learn marketing, so you created opinion bubbles that creates a fragmented society. That creates a disconnected society. That all is in the intention to sell you more. So we have the wars, the consumer society, social media. We have the power centralization, the big banks, big corporations. We have this problem. So how are we going to solve this? And it's resulting in us.
Exactly.
This is coming. We make these decisions.
Let's not forget that. Sorry, we also have ourselves.
Yeah, we still have ourselves. We're here live. We are in reality together talking. So I'm going to try to get to space where we talk about how we're going to solve this.
I'd say learn to be content with what you have. Like we said, if you already have the basics need, if you need to be happy, then having much more is not going to make you that much happier. So why bother? Might as well just enjoy what you have instead of constantly yearning for more and more and more.
So that do you think that maybe what are the needs and the wants? We have to think about that,
Yeah.
maybe. What is the need and what is the want?
But I think that's from what you said absolutely makes sense, but it also just talks about an individual level, right? Because
Yeah.
maybe I have enough money and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna want more money, I'll be content with what I want, but that doesn't fix anything for anybody else.
No.
So there has to be something that makes you want more, but for others, I think. Like you need to want more, but for other people.
That's a nice motto.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the sharing aspect. That when we share, we all will have more. That is the sharing aspect of the. How I try to relate this is that when you think about how we create energy, and I'm going back to this, fission is that what is happening in the nuclear reactor, and it's what is happening in politics. You create energy by dividing, splitting the atom, and then you divide, you create energy. That's how politics works. We divide you, and we create energy from that. The way that we create more energy is how the sun does it. The sun is putting two atoms together, is creating also energy, and that's called the fusion. So, okay, now we have the wars, we have the social media, we have the fragmented society, we have the centralization of power, we have the consumer society, we have biodiversity loss, the destruction of the planet, we have the CO2 and methane problem. Yeah, we still have ourselves, and we still have ourselves. So what is the solution to all this? What is the solution to social media?
Human extinction.
I heard that before.
It's very drastic.
It's a,
I mean, he's not wrong. Let's be real here.
yeah, if you want, do you know? Yes, let's talk about human extinction, because that's an interesting topic. So as you said, it's an interesting topic. But do you know what is which is the biggest single CO2 emitter on the planet? Which entity is the biggest CO2 emitter on the planet?
So it's ants.
Humans?
Humans, but an entity, an organization, the biggest. Sorry?
Energy sector.
Yeah, I think it's energy.
It's energy sector, yes.
Talking about common. Yeah.
It's no an entity and like a country or something, or
Big multinational.
China?
US stores?
yeah, it's close to the US. The US military is the biggest single CO2 emitter on the planet. The US military is emitting equivalent of 147 countries combined.
Only the military?
It's just the military. So when we're talking about human extinction, there is an acronym called MAD, mutually assured destruction. What do you think that is mean?
What mutually?
Assured destruction.
Assured.
What does it mean?
Well, then it's guaranteed that like one thing is going to destroy the other. Is that?
Yeah. That's the thing.
Where
So
does it come from?
mutually, it's like not mutually beneficial, but mutually beneficial, not beneficial destruction. That so both sides, we are all together, and that's what they call the nuclear weapons. That's the mutually assured destruction. So that's why nobody is launching nuclear weapons, because then we all die if somebody starts. So that's what you are talking about. The human extinction can be achieved by the nuclear weapons. But also, when now we see this climate emergency, is the same thing. We mutually assure our own destruction. So how are we going to start solving all these problems? What do you think? What is your instinct tells you?
I have a feeling that nature messes people's feelings, and I think it's feelings about other people. Because if you don't start caring about other people, you're not going to be convinced. Because it's a hell of a hard job in a way. Like, so you need to be motivated somehow. And I think you need to somehow trigger feelings on people, like feeling something for other people.
Yes, but how? So, for example, this table is broken. What do I need?
To fix it.
Yeah, to fix it.
Table.
No. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the consumer society. Internet, you have an idea? What do we need to fix the table?
Hammer,
Carpenter. Yeah.
nails.
The table or the economy?
Yeah, the table and the economy.
Wood.
Well, as you said, a lot of wealth is hoarded by a select amount of people. Those select amount of people that hoard a lot of wealth, they don't care about other people, because partly because when you hoard a lot of wealth, you become more indifferent about other people. Partly that the act of getting that much wealth, it's only put there. It's only possible for people who don't have a valid moral compass, and you need to exploit a lot of people. These people who hoard a lot of wealth are also very disproportionately the cause of the climate crisis. Like you said, you vote with your dollar, and if you have more dollars, you have more votes. So someone like Elon Musk can impact the climate more than I do. Someone like Jeff Bezos can, with his yacht, impact the climate more than I do. So I think something should be done to change the core of that system of wealth accumulation. And I think we call it capitalism and dismantling capitalism, or in a way reimagining it. But as I understand, you're from the Green Revolution Foundation, so I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about the way forward.
So yes, you are right. And what we need to fix a table is we need the tools and we need the people. But first we need to have the tools. And before I go into the economic and the social and the cognitive tools that we can use, we already know this. We already have the knowledge to solve the problems that we have. First, I'm going to talk about a tool which we already know here. It's nature is all around us. So, and a specific thing, I'm going to talk about industrial hemp, but we can talk about algae and bamboo. But why we are focusing on solving the climate emergency with industrial hemp is that we basically, there is a hemp. With hemp you can clean water, you can provide food and shelter, creating the bare necessities that people need. That's the basics of life: food, water, shelter. But not just that, you can use it for animal bedding, for making skyscrapers, automobiles, aeroplanes, whatever we need, because it's carbon, it's CO2 captured from the atmosphere. It grows in three months, it grows 3-4 meters high, a hemp plant. Anybody heard about hemp, by the way? Hemp? Yeah, you all know hemp,
Okay,
kind of.
But what where does this thing dissolve from wheat?
Yes. Yeah, it's a plant. We call this
But
as
is it
cannabis.
the same thing?
Yes, the cannabis. It's the same thing. Cannabis, hemp, the industrial cannabis. Yeah, it's the family of that. Like you can imagine, you have the dogs. You have lots of different types of dogs. Yeah. You have the plant which has the THC in it, that you can smoke, but you have the plant for different kind of uses. So that is this is a very versatile plant, and it grows everywhere. That's why it's weed. It's called weed. It's just throw it and it grows. So but I'm not here to talk about the psychoactive and the medicinal purposes, which are also great from this plant. The CBD is good for you, good for your body. It's good to relax, and you don't need to consume THC and all this other stuff. But I'm here to tell you that there are already people impacted by the climate emergency, millions of people, hundreds of millions of people, and we can find ways to help them. Because the solutions we already have with hemp, we can create biochar, which is a natural fertilizer. We can use it in regenerative agricultural practices, so rotating crops. But the most important is that if we plant hemp on 10% of farmland used across the globe, we capture the 50 gigatons of CO2. Basically, all our emissions can be captured by just planting hemp on 10% of every farmland used nowadays, now on the planet. That's what the Green Revolution science team from the state, Jeremy Hill, and lots of other universities are working on, how we do this, how we can capture the global carbon emissions with hemp, solutions to people who want to, so we can feed people, we can clean water, we can build homes, because that is the CO2 that you capture with that plant. And then you put it into construction, you put it into stuff, and it doesn't go back into the air. So that's why we look for industrial hemp for everything. It can save the bees, it can save the trees, we can make paper out of it. So we don't have to cut down the trees. We don't have to cut down trees to make furniture anymore. So there is lots of different use. You can even make microchips from hemp. Optical cables. You can build a whole infrastructure, a whole city from hemp. So that's a great tool. We can use, yes?
How can you build a house with hemp?
That is a great question. You use hempcrete, and you use hemp herd, you make hempcrete. By the way, all this knowledge that I'm telling you is on the Green Revolution YouTube channel. Yeah. So you just go there and you click hemp, and there are like now it's like 40 hours of different people talking about hemp, how you make a house from hemp. By the way, you can watch a guy talking about how you make hemp homes. And by the way, Alicia is doing the same thing. Alicia, maybe can you talk if you're here about the long houses?
Yes. So one of the reasons why hemp is so important to me in the cannabis industry, period, is because I recognize, and this is a core of the value for my organization, that whatever I do for another, I do for myself. Whatever I do to another, I also do to myself. And in 1937, we removed, hemp was made illegal in the US for reasons of power and control over the masses. It was taken away from many peoples. And now we bring it back into the fold, slowly but surely, to remind ourselves of how we are connected, not only to each other, but to nature as well. And so when we removed hemp, we destroyed a tremendous amount of the biodiversity. So bringing it back into the fold, we get to reconnect with nature. It is easy to grow. And yes, for thousands of years, we actually build our own homes with it. And all it is a simple mix of using the hemp, the herd from the hemp, and a limestone and water, 3 simple ingredients that can create a home that will last for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Yeah. So my organization, as an indigenous person, I am Eastern Bansaragi and Cuban Taino. And as an indigenous person, what I'm looking to do is recreate these communities, the hemp longhouse communities, because we have an opportunity to come together work together. When we work together, we rise together, right? So we build a community where we can physically build our own homes. We can grow a product that can feed us, that can clothe us, that can provide medicine. But we get to do all of these things when we remind ourselves how connected we are to nature as well as to each other. The reason why we are in this situation across the board is because man decided that we were above nature. We were separate from. And acting from that place, we destroyed that connection. I can tell you, I listen to nature, and what I hear now, what I feel now, what I experience now is very different than when I was a child, because we have destroyed so much. So bringing it back into the fold and reconnecting with it makes all the difference. And this longhouse, hemp community longhouse that we are creating, this is something that gets to be done anywhere on the planet, right? And many people refer to these little communities as either agrihoods, agricultural neighborhoods, or intentional communities. But the key is the importance of remembering how connected we are with each other as well as to nature. And that is the whole purpose of rebuilding these communities. For me, it's starting with indigenous peoples, but still irrelevant. We are all tribal people. We all come from that. So remembering and re-engaging is key, because we are no different than the rocks, the rivers, the trees, the plants. We are all the same. So creating this community is what that is about.
What do you think? Thank you, Alicia. Thank you. Thank you. What do you think about this connection? Do you think? What do you feel? Do you think that our generation might be when we can start to realize that what we are doing and what we should be doing and how we should be doing that? You think that this reconnection with nature and getting nature into getting our perspective, because this is just our, we, as Alicia told you, we put ourselves above the system that we are in, and we operate from this point of view that we are, and there is the planet, and this is not reality. Reality is that we are the planet, we are the nature, and we are destroying the same. This is, the cancer cell, all these different, the matrix, and all the, cultural references. Have you seen the Don't Look Up movie?
Yes, we saw it last week.
Yeah, and what do you think about it?
So it was very depressing. But it's good social commentary, I'd say. And I think what they mainly show is that the president and then, the people she works with, they put their wealth above the planet, which is kind of ridiculous, because if you don't have a planet, where are you getting your wealth from? I mean, it's just a very illogical way of thinking that you would put that before the planet, which is literally being destroyed. And it's, I think it got a lot of people talking. So we discussed it actually last week when we went to see An Inconvenient Truth.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We kind of talked about how the meaning that we give to a lot of things that ultimately are very meaningless trump the things that are actually important to our existence.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this what you are talking about here is the pinnacle problem that we face. So how we solve this, how we go to transform how people think, how people act, And because their thinking is in action, how we transform how people think, how they act, and what are the tools that we can use to do this. How we transform a society. We already know this because you already know this, how to do this. And also now you learned this, you worked this. You as a marketing person, you know already how to transform values. You already know how to make people think about things. We already possess the knowledge that to make people more aware. You can use the same knowledge, the same tools that you are using to sell shoes or whatever, to make people more aware of the situation, because these are the psychological methods. Have you heard about the cognitive dissonance before? What is cognitive dissonance?
It's like, I have heard of it before, but I am not going to be able to recall.
Okay. Okay, so cognitive dissonance is you smoke. Who's smoking? I'm sometimes smoking. Oh, Bruce, yeah, smoke. So
Stereotypes,
yeah, the stereotypes. Yes, this is a problem. This is not good for you. You know this. We all know this. This is not good for us. We got addicted to smoking, whatever reason, but we have this, and the mind. How the mind works is that you have two contradictory facts. One, smoking is not good for me, it's gonna kill me. And the other one is that stop smoking because it's not good for me. So your mind creates a barrier and puts that smoking is not gonna hurt me because I've seen, this is my rationalization, because I've seen a 93-year-old grandpa smoking every day and in Romania, but still going to the fields every morning and doing his job, and he was energy and 93-year-old and smoking every day. So I've seen that guy, and I create this rationalization. So this is not going to hurt me. This is, this is the cognitive dissonance. You dissociate yourself with the fact that is contradictory to your understanding. And how do you to dissolve this conflict? Because it's a conflict. You have a conflict in your mind, and that creates the problem. And how you dissolve this conflict is you act in a way that you are not contradicting yourself. You make dissolve the problems. For example, we talked about the plastic pollution, right? Plastics. How do we get people to act on plastic pollution? We can come up with schemes, but the best way is to show them how much plastic is in there, so they can see and how we can transform this into a solution. What we can do is we can use the power of self-persuasion. Anybody heard about the power of self-persuasion? Kind of. What do you heard about the power of self-persuasion?
I guess that if you believe in something, if you want to believe in it, you need to like dig into it and then convince yourself that this is the truth.
Yes, yes. And so this is the thing. Everybody, all the decisions that we make in life are creating yourself. Your choices, like in marketing, your choices are creating your identity. You be created by your choices. And these choices, we can make people make good choices, right? So for example, what we are doing with the Green Revolution is to have a project to open a climate action coffee shop. So you go there, you buy weed or anything, and the money funds artists and activists around the globe. So we redistribute money. You can either go to a normal coffee shop and buy weed, and this is good, and the money is going to go to somebody with a lot of money in the end. Or you have another choice. You go to a social coffee shop and you buy the weed or the food or whatever, there, and that money is going to go to help people. We can train our brain because this is a choice. Now you have a choice to make. We can create systems in people's brain. It's a positive feedback loop. So whenever you pay with your card, you capture CO2. Why do you think we are not using this system? Whenever you pay with your card, you capture CO2. Why do you think it's not happening?
Why is that?
Why is that?
Why is that that would like capture CO2 on the previous?
Yeah, whenever you pay with your card at Albertine or Lidl or a pub, or we can do this whenever you pay because there's a transaction fee on every payment. 1.5% usually transaction fee that the bank got after every time you pay with your card. So there is a money transaction going. We can use that money to fund growing nature, which is capturing CO2. For example, hemp. We can do that, and we are planning to do this. But why do you think there is nobody using this system? That's the thing. Yeah, it's not profitable. The bank says, I'm gonna get the 1.5% of every transaction. Fuck the forests, right? So that's the idea. How we use the power of self-persuasion, and this is science. There's lots of scientists working on this. Is one of the basic on this is Elliot Aronson, who wrote a book about a social animal. And they figured out why is the person, for example, they have these different settings. Have you heard about the prison experiment? Yeah, you all heard about that. Yeah.
I'm going to have to leave the next one.
Yeah.
It's very educational. I will look you guys up and have a nice night.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you for joining. So I don't want to take too long. But what we are designing, why these people are going crazy. Scientists started to figure out that you can persuade yourself to believe in anything. And the thing is that this is, you are doing it. You can become a good person by start to persuade yourself that you are a good person. And the best way to do this is to do it. Yes?
How do we do it for others? Because somehow I feel like if we are already here today, to some extent, this already means that we are a bubble that is somehow self-persuaded already, right? And the issue is, how do we get others in the same interest?
I mean, Hannah did marketing, so she can help us.
Yes.
Hannah, you go.
So what we do with the Green Revolution is put together the how. First, we have to have, we call hemp as a miracle because it has a multiple different uses. So you can already start learning about how hemp can help and how you can grow hemp and how we can help with hemp for millions of people across the world with hemp. That's the first thing you can know. You can start to educate yourself, ask questions, not to believe what I say here. Look for the solutions and the answers yourself, because I am not infallible. I'm not, I'm the blues guy here.
Yeah,
right?
you're suggesting a question.
I'm suggesting this. So we have hemp, we have nature that we need to rebuild. We have to rebuild nature. We have to be putting our money and energy into funding nature and people who are rebuilding nature. So that we have to have this mobilization. The scientists already said this in the 2014 IPCC paper. We need a World War II type of mobilization, global mobilization of people. And the best way to do this is with arts and with economics. So how we can make fun, have fun, play music, enjoy ourselves. We need the artists. We need to create community. That's music. That's art. That's the common understanding between each other. Communication. And then we need an economic incentive. We also work like this. Humans are greedy. That's why we can understand this. We are like this. So, but to transform our ideas on how money works, that's what we talked about at the beginning. Why money is for and how money multiplies itself and how money distributes itself is the question, because it's our decision. We can create a system, an economic system, which uses a great commodity. You can grow it anywhere on the planet. We can create, we can capture CO2 with it. People can clean water with it. You can eat it. You can build homes with it. We can create money from it. So what we are doing is we're creating this payment processing, which whenever you pay with your card in your local bar or whatever you are, you capture CO2. What it means that the money is going to flow to planting hemp across the globe. We can do this in a cryptocurrency, and it's representing CO2, so it's a carbon coin. And we can transform this carbon coin to euros, dollars, yuans, whatever currency we desire.
How can you create energy out of that?
Energy.
I'm not sure if it's a crazy question. I'm just
I don't know.
Yes,
Would love
yeah,
to
we
know.
can create biofuels. So when you put hemp into a pyrolysis machine, which is burns without oxygen, you get biochar, and you get biofuels. So it's a decentralized energy. You make energy. You can put these pyrolysis. So what we are also working on, and people across the globe, and Alicia is working on, is that how we create this decentralized system for the centralization, that greed, that black hole, which is just the mass of more and more and more. For that is the problem. That is the solution of decentralizing production and energy production, and also creating ecosystems. So communities create ecosystems over decentralized energy and creating the bare necessities, producing that. In the first world, we have the money. In the third world, people don't have the money. So we have to create a system where money transfers from where is money to the place where it doesn't have money. People don't have money. And the best way to mobilize people is with fun, with music, and with economics. Because that was Martin Luther King, arts and economics. This is the two things we need. And I just want to close this session, and I really thank you for everybody to come, because the idea is so simple that you can also spread it. So Martin Luther King and Gandhi got people together against, always the best way to get people is always against something. Martin Luther King got people against segregation. Gandhi got people against the British occupation and the colonization of India. And now we have to get people against our own greed, and observing that greed. That is what is our problem, with the science, understanding the science behind it, understanding the human, the social. Is in you. You can understand this because we already know what is it. And with that understanding comes love and lots of great possibilities for us, because this world is up for us to imagine, like the USB stick. Right? Somebody created this, like the mobile phone or something. This is for us. So I really thank you. Thank you very much for everybody. And I recommend after the things closing, check on our YouTube education channel. You can find all the playlists from economics to history to quantum physics to hemp to great talks to philosophy to natures. So I recommend you to check out HerManyVoicesFoundation.org. That's Alicia's foundation, and I really thank Alicia. Alicia, you are wonderful to be. I'm by the way, I'm gonna be seeing you very soon in Denver.
I am very, 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 actually, you'll be seeing me very
Yeah.
soon in New York first.
New York, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I have
Yeah.
to say, the reason I am here today is because of Attila. He reached out to me, he and his associate, Jeremy Hall, reached out to me many, many, many months ago. And wanting to make that connection for indigenous peoples around the hemp industry. And I have to say, I recognize that my generation, I am a baby boomer. We are the reason, the big reason why all of us are in this mess that we are today. We have this conception of, we are like termite people, you know, we're constantly consuming and never understanding that none can be savored if too much has been tasted, right? And we have really saturated ourselves with that. And so the hope for me is in the next generations. And when Attila reached out, I thought, this young man has something that can make a huge difference in this world. He gets it and he understands the connection. And so I am here to support that. We need to support each other as much as we possibly can. So thank you, Attila, for being the soul that you are today. And I recognize, being someone from the music industry as well, I recognize that whole creative, because we are truly the ones who are generating this thought of let's look at, let's act differently, let's do for others as well as we do for ourselves. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Alicia. Thank you.
Oh, I would say,
Yeah.
so Attila's coming to Colorado. I am going to be speaking, hosting a panel of indigenous peoples in the hemp industry. Attila is going to be speaking on what he is doing with Green Revolution. And all of this is happening at NOCO. It's the Northern Colorado Hemp Expo, and it happens March 23rd, 4th, and 5th. If you have an opportunity, get online and check that out. I'm assuming they're going to have live events, but if not, make sure that you get on YouTube or whatever and check out the events, because we have people speaking from all over the planet on the benefits of what this plant will do for us.
Thank you, Alicia. I cannot wait to see you there. We have to go to the people. By the way, I haven't got your name, Peter. I was happy to talk about you, the franchise and the economic system that we are building here, and we are looking for some help out on the matter. So, Peter, if you are interested, we just think. We are putting together DAO for the Green Revolution, so that's an interesting development. If you are also want to contribute, we have a Discord channel. We have Reddit. Yes, so you can post all the memes. And I really thank for everybody.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Yes. Wait, Attila, maybe commemorate this with a group picture. I think it would be
Of
really nice.
course, let's do this. Yes.
Yeah, I'll take a picture with this.
Yes. Oh, okay. And what?
Should we set around the laptop?
Yeah, set around the laptop. We're coming around the laptop.
Oh yeah. So we can also be there. That's
Yes.
nice.
Yeah. And the recycle is up above the laptop.
Don't go anywhere. We gotta play one song.
Yeah, we gotta play one more song, of course.
Can we see it? Oh man, my right side is not my good side.
1, 2, 3.
Yay! Oh, wait. Is there a way to
Maybe
show all
also
the
make
people?
it with
You, bravo, we gaan
what kind of camera? Oh.
Yeah.
Gallery.
Sorry, yes.
Gallery.
No, okay, I
Gallery
can see
view.
from here, sorry.
Gallery view.
Yes.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yay!
Woo! Yes.
Wow, that's the first time
All
I
right,
took a picture with a
let's
computer.
jam some.
Oh, yeah.
Let's jam some.
Yeah, I also have to go, but also stop.
Yeah, we just, we are.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Hey, guys, before you leave, hey, Attila,
Hey.
I just wanted to remind you, and maybe you can talk up to them a little bit later, on Earth Day, Her Many Voices is having an all-day marathon, Earth Day marathon. And the topic is Indigenous Wisdom for Modern Challenges. We will have many people speaking from across the globe on the hemp industry.
Yes,
So
Thursday, April 12th,
April 22nd.
22nd.
April 22nd, yeah.
April
Last year,
22nd.
we had 5 continents, 11 countries, 65 participants. So we'll have a lot of people joining us this year.
Oh my, I cannot wait. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, everybody. We're gonna do
All right.
one more song. Let's go.
I'm gonna leave. Goodbye.
Bye, Peter.
I mean a bare necessity of Mother Nature's remedy. The necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I could be fond of my people.